Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests. Some of you were not here for my previous speech, so this is the second speech. I'll quickly reiterate the purpose of this project, go through the objectives, which is what I want to focus on, and the lessons learned. This is why I'm kind of covering my proposal slide. What happened was in April, we said, we really want to get a new travel trailer. How does that relate to a chicken coop? Well, I'll tell you. When we have a new travel trailer, we have to remove the trailer that's inside the workshop so that the travel trailer can be stored indoors. And the only other place that we have that's leveled that looks good for storage is where the current coop was. So that meant we needed to move the coop. The coop was old, it wasn't good. The doors got stuck because they were weathered. There was a lot of things wrong with it. And this was the perfect opportunity to kick off this project. So what I really want to reiterate is the objectives. For this particular project, we had 3 objectives. The first objective was making sure that when we did this coop move, it was an easy way to gather eggs. I want to be jolly when I'm going out to gather eggs. And in order to do that, I would say the most important things was location, and design. This is how we're going to get buy-in for everyone in the family to participate in gathering eggs. Now, I posted here a picture of our lot, and you can see it's kind of like an odd, very rectangle shape. I don't want our backyard to be cluttered more than it already is with the trampoline, the playground, my garden, my greenhouse. We're not moving the coop down that area. So let's think about behind the workshop. For us, the workshop is nice and level. Behind it is also level, but we have this water table that seems to rise during the wetter seasons, and we can't use the back half of our pasture during that time. A couple years ago, we actually raised pigs, and so we had pig pens. And since it was already kind of situated, we said, all right, we'll take this pig pen because the other one is our current apiary, and we'll use that for the new coop. We got the fencing already set. The only concern was that it was kind of next to the neighbors. Well, we'll get to that situation later. But essentially, we need to know where it was. We needed the eggs to be able to be easily accessible. So within that pig pen, we decided, okay, it needs to be on the north side because there's no point in walking around, going through the gate. Why am I going to go into this fenced area? You risk the chickens running out, all of that stuff. So we decided, okay, we'll put it on the north side of the fence, and then we're going to get this little flip up portion for gathering eggs, which is really nice because our current one, we have our coop, or our previous coop, it had the egg boxes here, here, here. The kids couldn't reach it. So in this way, it's perfect height for kids to reach their arms and lift it up, not too heavy. They can help us out more than just counting how many eggs we have. That is where we decided that this was the perfect design for our next coop. So what was the next objective? Security. When it comes to a chicken coop, there's really only 2 things you need to worry about: keeping the chickens in and keeping the predators out. In this case, we decided to upgrade to a solar panel door, and we could situate the different time of when it can come. So not only do we not have to worry about walking the extra 20, 30 feet to go open the coop every morning and close it every night, we can now have it on a timer, which is great. But because this was a previous pig pen, my husband thought, oh, well, we could just use the electric wire that we used for the pigs to keep the chickens in. This is where I mastered in not saying I told you so. But when we did move our chickens into that, and he had the one line of electric wire on the bottom of the hog panels, I'll tell you, there's a reason why they have chicken wire. I had a good laugh, and the next night we had to move the next week, actually, we had to move the chickens back to the new coop because they got out and they ended up staying in their old coop until we were able to add the chicken wire to the bottom. Now, keeping predators out. This I won't be able to report back on until spring because for us, the #1 predator we have are bald eagles, and they love to come in March and April. But I do know that the hog panels are decent enough for keeping coyotes out because and bears, they haven't been bothered to mess with our beehive. So I'm assuming that we're going to be okay there, not so much because we don't have the air coverage to protect from the air predators. So the last objective we had was on-time completion. Now, I didn't go through it in the project proposal, but really all of the risks were related to the timeline. We bought the travel trailer in April. That gave us a couple months to get through the Seattle spring. And then we moved into summer. Everybody knows from 4th of July to Labor Day, you're going to have good weather. After that, who knows? For this, the key was really about keeping everybody motivated. And I'll tell you about this in my lessons learned, but keeping everybody motivated to stick to the timelines, making sure that we completed this on time was really the only objective that mattered in this case. So from the lessons learned, this project again was coming from the motivational strategies. I told you about what we wanted to do, but for the lessons learned, I want to talk about focus on how we were able to achieve this project somewhat on time. So the first lesson learned was clear purpose drives action. Everybody understands we're getting this travel trailer, we're moving the coop. When everybody understands why we need to do it in a certain manner, then everybody's kind of able to connect, okay, we'll help participate, we'll help drive the collaboration. And I think that this applies to any project. But when the second one is communication is a motivator. Usually these honeydew projects that I have for my husband are, here's the thing I need you to do, get it done, let me know how it goes. And that's pretty much it. In this case, I stayed on him. I said, we have this timeline. Have you done this? Have you done that? What else do we need to order? What else have you not considered yet? In this case, I think that the example of having that direct dialogue really drove to make sure that he stayed on time. And then the last point is the peer influences power. In this case, the kids are always like, I'm not sure if I want to help that. But we were able to motivate them by saying, hey, like when's the next time you're going to be able to stand or sit inside a chicken coop, right? We also did a lot of games outside, and it was kind of a fear of missing out because when we're behind the workshop from the house, you can't see what else is going on. So if I bring out a picnic and a couple of games for us to play, we're keeping my husband satisfied in that we're there helping or at least providing that motivational support, and he's getting the work done on time. So with that, I think ultimately, I would say we were a little behind schedule. We got really lucky with the Seattle weather. We didn't have the rains until October. We did get the chickens in before Labor Day, but we had that mishap of, keeping them secure. So I look forward to enjoying this new coop for at least another 8 years.